Hey guys, it's Becky. Long time no see. I don't think I've made a video since like late October or early November, so it's been a couple months since I've made a video. I don't really have an excuse, I guess. Other than I do work at a retail store, so the Christmas, Thanksgiving season was slightly chaotic. Plus, I just have not read a lot. It is the last day of January and I have read a grand total of one book this year. Granted, that book was over 600 pages, but still, I have definitely been slacking on the whole reading aspect of my life. Really do want to get back into the whole booktubing thing because I really enjoy it when I do and I love the community. So what better way to get back into it than a book haul? For the most part, these are the books that I gathered in January. I do have a couple from the end of December. I didn't want to do a Christmas book haul just because I'm weird about that. I don't really want to be showing people the stuff I get for Christmas, which is completely my own weird opinion, I guess. But anyway, I do have a handful of books to show you today, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The first book I have is This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, which is the sequel to These Broken Stars, and this is a companion book, I guess. It follows a set of new characters, Jubilee and Flynn, whereas the first book followed Tarver and Lilac. And I believe it follows these two characters are on opposing forces of a rebellion, and one of them is taken captive by the other, and I'm sure they're gonna fall in love and blah blah blah. But These Broken Stars was fantastic. It was one of my favorite books of last year, so I'm really excited to get into this one because the first one just completely messed with my mind so much. So yeah, This Shattered World. Right, next I have Gloria O'Brien's History of the Future by A.S. King, who is Queen, let's be real. And from what I can gather, this follows a girl named Gloria O'Brien who somehow manages to start being able to tell the infinite futures and infinite pasts of other people's lives. Other than that, I really don't know that much about this book, but it's A.S. King, and I read Please Ignore Vera Dietz by her a few months back, and I fell in love with it. So basically now I'm just wanting to read everything this woman has ever written. Plus this cover is stunning. Next I have Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Tekolk, I believe that's how you say it. And again, sorry, I really don't know that much about this book. I do know it's a duology, and the second one came out not too long ago called Between the Spark and the Burn. I'm assuming it's some type of fantasy book, but it actually sounds pretty adorable, which is kind of weird considering the title. But yeah, I just really wanted to give it a go. I got it at half price book, so half price, and it's new, really good condition. So yeah, just really wanted to give this one a shot. I got The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, which is a fantasy novel that centers around the Fae. I've only read one other book series that involved a lot of Fae, excluding the Mortal Instruments, because I've only read two of those. But the Throne of Glass series, which is brilliant. And from what I have read, I do really like Fae and fantasy novels. So I really wanted to give Holly Black a shot. And this actually sounds very storybooky, very fairy tale-y, I guess that would be the word for it. Children can have a cruel, absolute sense of justice. Children can kill monsters and feel quite proud of themselves. A girl can look at her brother and believe they're destined to be a knight and a bard who battle evil, who might someday find and fight even the monster of the heart of the forest. It sounds, I don't know, it just sounds very fairy tale-y to me, and I'm really, really looking forward to giving this one a go. Anyway, a short premise of this, from what I can gather from the synopsis, is there is a horned man who lives in the forest of this town or this world that the main characters live in, and he's asleep. And he's been asleep for as long as anyone can remember. They don't really know why he's there, who he is, or whatever. But one day he awakens. It reminds me of Sleeping Beauty, okay? It just does. Next I have The Iron Child by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. Okay, fun story. It's not fun, it's just random. A couple months ago I was at a half price books and I saw this here signed by the authors. And I was like, I've never read anything by Holly Black. I've only read a couple things by Cassandra Clare. They're not my favorites. I'm not gonna get it, even though it is freaking signed. I regretted that decision, let's just say that, especially when like it started getting pretty good reviews. Went to another half price books about a week ago and it was just in its shelf, still completely brand new, signed by the authors. I didn't hesitate this time, I just bought it. But The Iron Child has been likened quite a bit to Harry Potter, which Harry Potter's Bay, but it's about this boy who ends up going to this magic school. Other than that, want to give it a shot though. Next I have The Diviners by Libba Bray in the slightly less pretty new hardcover edition, but it doesn't have a dust jacket, so there's that. That's nifty. And one thing about this is it really doesn't have a synopsis on it at all. So I'm just guessing a little bit here from what I've heard in the past. I believe it's set in the 1920s, which I've not read a lot from, so I'm excited about that. And it's some type of like fantasy paranormal type book. Right. Next I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which is, I guess, urban fantasy probably. It is about a mysterious circus that just arrives in town one day, and I believe there's like some type of competition between some of the magicians within the circus. Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. I've heard this book is absolutely fantastic, and I've been wanting to read it for a long time. I've just never wanted to pay full price for it because I'm cheap. But I finally did, because this cover is gorgeous and I do really want to read it, so hopefully I will be getting to this one soon. Next I have yet another book that I really don't know too much about, and I'm kind of ashamed that I don't because it is well known, I guess, but that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. In my Brit Lit class this semester, we are reading a couple chapters out of this, and I decided, hey, I've heard fantastic things about Oscar Wilde, and I do really want to read it, so I just went ahead and bought myself a copy of it. And next I have Us by David Nichols, who wrote the beautiful and heartbreaking One Day. If you haven't seen that movie, or if you have not read that book, do it right now, unless you don't like having your heart ripped out, in which case don't do it. But this follows a man named Douglas and his wife Connie along with their family, and one day Connie decides that she wants a divorce. However, they did have a planned trip to travel through some European landmarks, and they decide to continue on with the trip because they do have kids and they can't bring themselves to cancel it, and plus why would you want to cancel a European trip? Anyway, this novel just works through their relationship and hopefully them finding a way to make it work. Who knows, because David Nichols is cruel. Chances are they'll just all end up like dying or something. But yeah, this cover is also beautiful. I did also download a book on my Kindle this month, which I cannot show you because my Kindle is currently dead. But that is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. And this follows a girl named Ava who was born with wings like a bird, and I'm not sure if that's literal or metaphorical or whatever, but she just has to go through her life, I guess, with this struggle with this complete abnormal part of her, and I've heard it's written beautifully. It's very captivating for a lot of people that have read it, so I'm really excited. I have bought 1,000% more books than I've read this year. That is kind of embarrassing. So hopefully I will see you guys soon with a new video. Hopefully. I'll try. I probably will not be doing a January wrap-up because, again, I've read one book. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll actually do a TBR video. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye.